struggling with it, and that meaning of it. That was a hard life.
Was it?
That was a hard life.
That's very good.
Me, I want to say she's in a better one now, but I think the times have changed.
Sure.
In that sense.
So then, what's the best thing for Karen to do now to get the empowerment that we were talking about?
I think for her is really understanding that it's okay. We can be a bully, but not to the extremes that she was, so that you can stand up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be a bully in that sense, but you can be in your own power, and that's taking the power. So, and that's me drawing the line, saying no, you can't. And when they cross that line, or people say boundaries, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the words you want to use,
Yes.
stick by it, because in that life you couldn't. It just happened. You had no rights then. You have rights now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just her. If she says she's going to do something, honour her.
Yeah.
And no matter who it is, if the boyfriend's doing something to you and you don't like him, say no, stop.
Mm.
And if he keeps going, that's what she did. But remember, you used to let it happen. So it's just remembering that we have the power.
Okay.
That was powerless. You have the power now.
Yeah.
And just realising the inner self.
Yeah. To step into it.
Yeah.
Mm.
It feels really positive to me because I can see the strength inside her. But it's just that's the male energy really comes out. I've got a tiger going on in the background. So there's a really big strength inside her. But tigers are pretty little kittens as well sometimes, and she sometimes goes back into that.
Okay.
So stay in your power.
Yeah.
Did they get around that one, didn't they?
Yeah, they do. They get around. Yeah. Now, Casey's asked a good question. She said, do people you know in your life now play a part in your past life?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
When we break it down, we'll come from soul groups. Well, we'll come from the one soul originally, the one spark, and everything like that. But we have soul groups, and usually, and it's interesting that they could be your neighbour 40 streets down, but you'll interact, and he could be doing something for you without knowing it. So you could be your partner in this life could have been your daughter in another life, or your father, or an attacker, or it could have been the king. In that sense, but we seem to go around and teach each other lessons as we're going.
Okay.
And that could be where, and as cruel as it may seem, that you could be going to war and someone you had to fight in the war was there to teach you something. And they may have sacrificed themselves to you by going, look, I'm not going to do this anymore, and you just took advantage of it as you would in those moments, but it's teaching you something there.
Okay.
So we all grow. Somewhere along the line, we've had a past life. Everyone we are within.
If we're interacting.
Yeah. Because, and if you become a dominant person, and not to say that your mum may be the first time you've ever seen your mum, it's been this life. And in past life regressions, when we're talking you through it, we actually ask, is there anyone in that family you recognise now?
Okay.
And some of them it could be, yeah, it's my uncle.
Okay.
Or, oh my God, that's my son. Or who is you related? He's my father. So the roles are reversed.
Okay, and changed.
Yeah.
Well, Karen just said, thanks, Ivan. Yes, my 3 relationships were all abusive, so I've certainly learnt that lesson now. I do have a strong energy now, and I'm all about empowering women with strength.
There you go.
Excellent.
So Karen's integrated that already.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's real.
Yeah,
Snaps
well done.
to you, sweetheart. Snaps to you. Yeah. Casey said, sorry, I feel silly now, so I have to explain because yes, everyone is of course scared of sharks.
Yeah.
They're not actually, sweetheart.
Yeah.
They're not.
Well, Steve Irwin loved them.
Exactly. But I would almost call it a phobia, and I've always wondered why and thought maybe something happened in a past life, and you 100% confirm that. So that's good.
Yeah. My son's not a big fan of swimming. And I've said it before, and he's only 10, and he'd only go to waist deep. And at Christmas was really good. We brought him out for up to his chest. And now he loves it. But that's 9 years of not wanting. You've got to have a shower, mate. You have to have a shower. Wouldn't have a bath, and kids love baths. Would not have a bath.
Yeah, wow.
Had to be a shower, in and out. Have you turned the water on? Hasn't even got it hot, and that's how quick because he was really against the water part.
Wow.
But knowing it, we've got to break it. And he told me he knew he was in the water. And he knew he got shot, and I asked him where he was, and he didn't want to tell me. So then we just showed him some, when Anzac Day was on, images of stuff going on. He goes, that's it. So he could understand and relate to it. And I said, well, that's why you're not a big fan of guns. That's why you're not a big fan of water going out of your depth.
Yes.
But we need to break that cycle for himself.
So that it doesn't then carry on.
And impede it, and then he'll put that onto his kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Melissa said, thanks, Ivan. I actually get peace and therapy from gardening. Makes sense, I was a farmer.
Ah, there you go, I love that.
That's
yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now you've got to go get him, girl.
Yes.
That was what was the essence of yours, wasn't it? That she has to take in that power and off and go.
And use it to her abilities, the best she can be at that moment.
Yes.
And it sounds hard sometimes because we are fighting against something, but in reality it is a simple thing.
Yeah.
We just got to trick this.
Yes, and what we choose. That's the thing, what we choose. Now, Tara Louise Borg also asked, what was I in my past life? So that was good timing for today.
Yeah. Sorry, they just said a rock. What?
That's a good thing though. If you're a rock, you're stable, in my vision anyway.
Yeah, I haven't got the rock as in one on the ground. They just said rock. And we'll just ask more on that and why. Okay. Rock. It very empowered, brought people together. It was there. You were when people needed it, that was you. They came to you to help you understand that. She's a little bit standoffish at the moment because probably over people asking, can you help me, can you help me, can you help me? No, I'm over it. But that was what they were saying is a rock. Oh. I make good TV sometimes. I feel like my whole chest is caved in and I'm thinking, what's happened now? I've just lost all my breath. And I'm asking why. Got trapped. Very not big fan of tight places. That's a really big memory, that one in the system. I'll call it a gladiator suit on because I've got a skirt, but they're showing the metal bits hanging down, Russell Crowe type stuff. Because I have nothing up here, but I have that, and that's how I lived. Wherever I was, that's all I wore. Everything was by hand, and I think that's where the strength, that's why people helped. Because, if you had a weapon or something like that, people got threatened by you because of the size you had. They're saying that you're tiny now compared to that. Why? I'm asking if this is a physical side or is this an actual height wise, but they're saying the energy was massive then, and that's why he attracted everyone. The ones that wanted to hurt, to harm, and use, but he could, very smart, could actually determine who was who. Okay. In that sense, but
see through it all.
Yes, because so many people came. But for her in this life, they're saying it's because you're closing yourself down all the time, because you don't want to be used as before, and we're saying we'll bring this energy in, because that is a very strong, powerful energy that just knew, there's no right or wrong in that instance, but he knew what to do at the right time. And she's a bit confused with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the balance out of this one, but I want to say, just tap into that power. In here knows, it knows. Just look in, just close your eyes, kid might just stare there if you want, and just stare into that spot and really look and see that power that's in there. It's like it's been put in a little vault and going, it's there, but when you're ready to use it, we got it. And it's there. So I have the gladiatorial energy, and I want to say really, really, and you can do this, that's what they're telling me, bring that energy in. And it's gonna, and even here I've just I've opened up.
Yeah.
Which I just realised I was doing that. But it will come out for you and become a really nice. It's going to transform you in a way that when you can see what gladiators were like, they were scared, absolutely scared shitless, but they did what they had to do to live. If they didn't, well, they died.
Correct.
In this form now, bring that courage in.
Yeah.
Bravery is another word that they're saying. So really tap into it. Really, really do tap into it. It's there. It's just waiting for you to knock on the door and open it.
It's quite amazing, isn't it? Because there's so much that we get wrapped up in day to day here, that it's nice to know that you, if you feel like, to me it's the ability to draw on another strength.
Yeah.
It's another resource to pull into.
Yes.
At any one time, if it's the same as asking your spirit guides for help, asking your angels for help, asking the universe, source, whatever it is.
Even a friend.
Even a friend. But it's nice to also go, whatever I can bring through that was my strength in a past life, that would be great to bring in.
And it's easy to tap in. It just reminded me of, during the meditation class last night, we tapped into a lot of the stuff. We had the solar flares, the full moon, the solar.
Yes, there's so much going on, isn't there?
So we tapped into that last night in the group we were in, and one of the ladies there at discussion time afterwards actually said that when we expanded ourselves to the Earth size, she could see everyone's problems. Made hers look small, but could see everyone's problems, and it goes, geez, the world's in a bad shape. But then we expanded it to look from further beyond, and even that seems small.
Yes.
So it was, in a sense, stepping back all the time and looking at it from a different view.
Yes.
And that's where a past life, if you 90% of people on the planet probably come from Egypt, because a lot of the world did at that point through time, and you can say there's so many Italian heritage because the Romans went around and did their thing,
Yeah.
They just did. So there's a lot of, you can sit there and say, okay, we've come from Egypt. Why am I attracted to Egypt? What is it? Not everyone, I know I was a scribe once. I'm not a big fan of writing nowadays, but obviously then I was.
Yeah, exactly. Or it was your profession.
Yeah.
And it was what you'd been trained to do. So maybe, I don't know, you can put all different sorts of things with it, can't you?
Yeah, but it's realising, okay, I had at one point a really good way with words. I wanted to bring that in.
Let's reintroduce that. Yeah.
And I find the way I write or type, or post stuff on Facebook, well, to me it makes sense. So maybe other people it does, but it's bringing that energy into this body here.
Yes.
And it's just saying, okay, I'm a writer now, and I'll start writing.
Excellent.
And come from that view. So we can tap into all of them. If you have a strong heritage where you just feel like you have to go out bush all the time, bring that nature into, if you live in the city in an apartment, bring it into your building. Buy some plants or something like that and use it. If you feel like you have no strength, look through your soul and see, when was I powerful? Bring that in.
Yes.
And we can all do it.
We can all
We've just got to ask.
Yeah. And I love the idea of, if you're struggling with something right here, right now, calling on it when you've had it previously.
Yeah.
That's a great concept. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I was talking to someone the other day who was struggling with self-love, and they're married with kids. And I said, well, did you love your husband? Yeah. And I said, well, go back to when you got married. That was a stressful day. Okay, go back a week beforehand. So you're not in that mode. And if you're feeling you can't see unconditional love, remember when your baby was born and just look at it and visualise it. And because they know no different, and there it is, or go talk to a pet. And you're just bringing in the energy and going, there it is, you can recognise it. And that's what we're doing with the past life, is recognising the strength and bring that into where we are here.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm curious now. May I ask if there's anyone that needs to come, if there's any of mine that needs to
come through and let you know what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do I need to call on?
So I'm just flicking back to where we were last week, and they're just saying divine timing with your divine timer. A clockmaker back then, and it's like you lose track of time nowadays, and back then everything was a set routine, and they're just saying bring all that back into it, the intricate details of everything. You're pretty clued on what you're doing and stuff like that, and they're just saying, but there's finer points you can still get to.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the table and understanding that whole picture. In that life, you had to break the watch down.
Okay.
And stuff like that, which is really good because he was always late. But he's a timekeeper, but he knew that it was just a tool and a way to make his living and stuff like that.